Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I said we're going to change gears, and we are going to change gears. I want you to meet somebody who's been on the show before. Maybe you saw him, maybe you didn't. It is comic book creator H.H. German. Nice to have you with us, H.H. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Gary. Nice to see you too. Happy New Year to you and the team.
And Happy New Year to you. Let's all stay happy, peaceful, healthy, and safe. That would be great. Anyway,
Mhm.
aside from our wishes here, let's just talk about, if I remember correctly, when you were on the last time, we talked about Sigma Comics and the first in an 8-issue series, right? Yeah, that's what we talked about. Talk to me about Sigma, the series, and ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. We're up to issue number 4.
That's right. That's
So
right.
tell us all about it.
Right. Well, Here Comes Calico is a series, a comic book series that fights animal abuse through comics. And we have a wonderful hero by the name of the Calico. And the Calico is a Bronx guy who currently finds himself living in Brooklyn. And he's getting regular updates on people who abuse and kill animals. So he deals with it in a very terminal way, let's say. Let's leave it at that.
Why and how did you get so involved in animal rights that you wanted to dedicate? Because listen, this is not just writing an essay or an op-ed piece. This is like major creation. And I know Rebecca has some pictures. Let's show some of the characters and things. So tell us how you got into it.
The foundation is bullying, right? So bullying is something that all kids, unfortunately, have to deal with to some extent. Usually starts pretty early on, and it can go into adulthood too. And when you think about bullying, we think about it as person to person. But when you abuse an animal, I mean, you're basically bullying them, and it's even more extreme because if you have a pet at home, you're in some cases many times bigger than the pet. And think about being picked up by a human if you're a little cat or a dog. I mean, you're like a giant. Imagine a giant picking you up off the street and,
Right.
and hitting you. It's
Right.
terrifying. And then on top of that, these animals have just just complete devotion to their pet owners. They see
That's
themselves
that
as their
there's
family.
no question about that.
They're so loyal and devoted to you, and then they keep coming back for that love, and you just keep doing. It's just horrible. And the context at which we have this character and how he goes about avenging this abuse is truly remarkable. It's never been done, frankly. It's been called the pioneering comic book, and we're really proud to be a part of it.
Just out of curiosity, you had witnessed something like that? You have your own pets? You just read about it? I mean,
Right.
I'm always interested in an artist's muse.
Sure.
What was it that drove you to make not only a statement, or as
Right.
I said it, but such a full-fledged kind of commitment of
Right.
everything to it?
Well, it's such a great question, Gary. The Bronx, frankly, is a big part of it, right? So I grew up in the Bronx, in the Pelham Bay section, and this is a tough area growing up, and you had to deal with bullying quite a bit. And some people don't know this, but the Bronx has tons of greenery. It's the greenest of
Of
all
course. The
of the
borough of
borough.
parks. Yeah,
Right.
sure.
So we got a lot of wonderful animals riding, playing with us. Some of them are friends who are in the park. Some of us are our pets. So I unfortunately got to see some mistreatment, and knowing the bullying, I could just imagine what was going through those poor little animals.
Well, and so if you witnessed it, even one incident, you could only imagine what daily life would be like. Wow,
So,
fantastic! And let's talk about the creation of the superheroes.
right.
Talk to me about what you created. What did you try to do with it, etc.
Right. Well, the hero's name is Hector Gill. And again, a Bronx guy that is getting intelligence. He's being fed intelligence from all around the country on people who abuse and kill animals. So our process, or I should say my process in creating the character was frankly based on, my experience growing up in the Bronx and also being influenced by boxing. The character is a boxer. So he leverages his fighting skill set to go after these bad guys. So here's basically a street fighter, someone who was raised in the, let's call them the mean streets of New York, the Bronx. And he's leveraging not only his background in growing up in the Bronx and his experience, but also his fighting prowess. in dealing with these people who are just the I have no words for these
Lowest of
people.
the low, is that what
Yeah,
we want to say? The lowest
yeah.
of the low?
I have more choice words that can't be uttered on the show. Right?
What is interesting also in, the way you described it in the background of it is the notion of bullying.
Right.
Clearly, it's a larger issue than it used to be. We know what's going on politically and out there in the world. People have less patience and all that kind of thing. And for kids who don't know how to express really their anger, it becomes very easy to look at somebody who's different, whether they be, disabled in some form, or of course different ethnicity, or maybe they're not as athletic as you are, you and your friends are might be, there's really been this kind of psychological undercurrent amongst kids, right? I
Right.
mean, and if you're going to reach them, I'm assuming this is the way to reach them.
Right. I grew up with just witnessing and experiencing bullying day to day, and frankly, I was able to overcome my situation.
Mhm.
And but like you said, it is a timely topic. So when people pick up our comic books, they feel a direct connection to what's going on today with the pulse of living in today's society. So what better medium than comic books to interact with young people today, and frankly, people of all ages, because people who read our comic books are of all ages. So it's a wonderful, unique approach to fighting this incredibly unfortunate topic, and we think we have a winner here.
Have you heard from other people, from readers and others who have said, "Wow, this is a really good," even parents who say, "You know what, this is a good concept." I'm assuming you have.
Every day, and when we started, another great question. So we hear about this every day, and people really connecting with our comic book in their familial situation. But also, we just started doing these comic book conventions, which
Right.
we hadn't done up until recently, and we have an outpouring when people actually see you face to face. It's just an outpouring of support.
Wow,
It's incredible, and
that's
that's really
great.
where you see it more pronounced.
And
Absolutely.
of course, you and I talked about this last time you were on. If you want to reach kids, as happy as I am with the talk show format, put a comic book in their hands, and you got a half a chance to reach them. All right, let's talk about issue number 4 that's coming out. What do you do every month? Is that what we do? Here it is. Look at this.
Yeah, it's a stunner. It's a really gorgeous issue, and we credit Garnabiel, our cover artist there, Daniel Grimaldi doing the colors, interiors by Javier Orbich. Wonderful creative team, and yours truly on the writing. Issue 4 deals with, well, let's just say that up until now, the Calico has gone up against just regular civilians who have been terrible people to animals. This is the first time in the series that he's coming up against a bona fide supervillain. So this is someone who has way more power and resources behind them. Let's just say the Calico has his hands full in issue 4.
Uh, how long does it take you to write them, and put them out, and then coordinate with the artist or artists? Because again, you're just talking about it here in a minute or two.
Right.
Yet this is given birth after a period of time.
Right. Well, the series was actually completely written last year during the quarantines, the first quarantines that we had for COVID. And but admittedly, what I do is my process is I write the whole thing as an outline, and then I go in and do an extra layer of dialogue, and then prior to an issue being prepared, I do extensive editing, and that could be pretty substantial.
I mean,
Sometimes,
we're talking 6 months, a year, 2 years, five
oh
years,
no,
one year,
we're talking
two
about
weeks,
yeah, no, we're talking about 2 to 3 months overall, and then
uh,
individually about 2 weeks to do the editing.
and the artists are pretty good, right?
The artists are incredible.
Oh,
We've been very
sorry, the
fortunate.
artists are incredible. I didn't want to say
Yes,
pretty good.
yes, they're pretty incredible. They work really well with me. It helps having gone to art school. So I'm a graduate of the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan, and I'm able to storyboard the entire comic book with them.
Ah,
And it's a wonderful help to them because they're able to see
right.
exactly how I want this stuff laid out. So it's a very direct connection with artists, which is atypical in the comic book creative process.
So I want to get back to the 8 issue series. This is
Yeah,
number 4.
right.
Have you laid out the others twofold? Number one, in terms of what you're going to do with them, and if you don't want to say, you don't have to. And
Well,
number two, are there dates? Do you say, well, we have the next one out by May or April? I don't know, whatever.
right. So to the first question, yes, everything is pretty much laid out. And again, that's the outline from a script perspective. In terms of the actual creative art, it is not. So I have a meeting with our interior artist, and we typically have every 5 pages, we have a very brief meeting just so that we go over the storyboards, exactly how we need everything positioned. So it's
Wow.
comic book is
That
24 pages, so it's
that that
fun.
is so fascinating and so interesting. Here is really a novice question. I'm sorry, I'm not. I was a comic book guy when I was a kid, not lately. Um, how do you sell them? Presumably they're for sale.
Right,
How do you sell them? You put them on the web. I mean, of course, in the old days, we'd go down to the candy store, and for a dime, you'd
right,
get the DC Comics.
right.
What's the market like? What's the commerce like?
Well, so we have many different avenues now, right? So you mentioned one of them, the website. You can get our series if you go to sigmacomics.com. That's our website, SIGMA comics.com. Then we also, as I mentioned, we have the comic book conventions, and we have them all across the country. So if we're in your town, come check us out, and you'll get our comics that way. We
There you
also
go.
sell direct to the comic book stores.
So
So
you could also go online and order comics, right? I mean, like you would order anything else.
right, and the latest way to get it, and the
We're
best
gonna have
way
to
right now,
run, so be quick. Go
sure.
ahead.
Kickstarter.com. Issue 4 is available right now for
Right
pre-order, and
now.
that's where we really want you to go right now, because you can get it as a collectible,
Great.
something to read as entertainment, and
I I
wonderful thing.
almost called you H.H Calico, H.H German, and this is Here Comes Calico, fourth
Here,
edition. It's
here
out.
comes Calico.
There you
Go
go.
to
Hey,
Kickstarter.
hey, man, thank you. We love artists. We love creative people in the Bronx. We love people with a point of view, and you are one of them. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Get to Kickstarter.com and support Here Comes Calico. Thank you so much.
Great. That's it. HH, Happy New Year to you. And also Happy New Year to Jean Marie Ellie, who was on our first segment. And guess what? Happy New Year to you. We'll see you next week. Good night.